by a few words of presentation from you, so of introduction. Tell us about your how you came into activism and yeah.
Okay. So my name is Lina. I am from Saudi Arabia. I am also Belgian now. So I'm the sister of Loujain and AlHathloul. Hello. Yes, we just started. You can come in.
Come on in. Come on in. Welcome. Please have a seat.
So I was saying, my name is Lina. I am from Saudi Arabia. I'm the sister of a Saudi human rights activist who's Loujain and AlHathloul. So maybe some of you don't know, but in Saudi Arabia, women couldn't drive until a year or so ago. And my sister was the one fighting for it. And for that, she got imprisoned in Saudi Arabia. She's now released. But we had to fight really hard to release her. And so while she was in prison, we were thinking about many ways, to speak about her and, to make people understand what is going on in the country, and also to inspire kids to be activists. So that's how the story came to life. So this is the story of a little girl called Loujain, who lives in a world where only boys are allowed to fly, to wear wings and fly to a colorful world. And her classmates always make fun of her, telling her that she will never fly because she's a girl. But her father encourages her to learn to fly, and at the end, she's the first woman to fly. And so it's an analogy of a woman not being able to drive, and now being, because someone fought for it, because someone questioned the law, she succeeded. So you can see it's very magical. And what I really like about it is that the illustrator, Rebecca Green, she didn't know Saudi Arabia, but I really wanted it to look like my country. And you can see that the places, the backgrounds, the features, everything looks like Saudi Arabia. So I think it's very magical. You can see them flying here.
And so, you mentioned that you wanted to inspire kids. So why was it important for you to work to address the children?
Well, I think it's two-sided. It's not only about inspiring kids. It's also making parents realize that when their kids ask questions, it's not always illegitimate, that sometimes it makes sense, and that they also should encourage them when they think that something is unjust. So, my sister, she was an activist, and she was questioning everything since we were kids. She was actually, when in Saudi Arabia, women couldn't swim back in the days, and she was really the one when she was 5 or 6 asking my parents, why am I not allowed to swim? And my father once he took her to a swimming pool, and he had also to fight everyone's looks and everyone's comments, and it worked at the end. Of course, you have to have some people being pioneers and changing things. So when kids ask questions, we have to also answer with questions, why they think it's unjust, and learn from them as well.
So what's the second message that you want to convey to people?
Yeah, well, I want them to be to realize that when they see some situation that is unjust, they're not wrong about it, not necessarily wrong about it, and that they should they should tell their parents and adults that it's not that's not because they're kids that they're wrong about their sense of a situation. So I think that when they see this book that is magical and dreaming of flying, that they can dream about changing things and they can succeed in it.
So can you also tell us a bit more about what is the process that got into making this book? Like how did you go did you get with Lina to write it, and how did Rebecca come into the project?
So yeah, I met Uma when I was fighting for the release of my sister, and I was speaking at the UN, and I met Uma's kid, who kept asking questions. You know, she kept asking her mother, "Who is Loujain? You know, why she's fighting for her?" And it was very difficult for Uma to explain to her 5-year-old daughter what her role in that was. And so she had actually the idea of writing a children's book to explain, what activism is, how to fight for something you think is unjust, how to also encourage kids in, emphasizing the fact that their ideas are not always wrong, So yes, we wanted to first explain to Uma's daughter who Loujain was. And then Rebecca is Uma's friend, and we got together and wrote the story. And,
So then, what's next after the book? Do you have other projects? Have you been signed up to maybe write more, or what do you want to text the book next?
So the first idea we had is that we want Loujain to grow. So this is a children's book, and we want maybe to make her then a teenager and then an adult. So going into different phases of her life. What is also a bit more difficult now is that Loujain is released, but under strict conditions. So she's under a travel ban. She's not allowed to speak. She's not allowed to talk about anything that has happened to her during her imprisonment. So we are always having this risk management thing. So we don't always know what could harm her, what could be difficult for us to write. So for now, we will make sure that this book is known, that it spoke about that women's rights in Saudi Arabia are not forgotten. And hopefully the situation will get better, and we will be able to go on with the project of making Loujain grow.
How is Loujain the stuff now? What's she doing?
So as I said, my sister is released, but she's not allowed to leave the country. She's not allowed to speak. So it's better than prison, of course, but it's still not the best situation, and we have to continue to fight for her.
You plan to translate it in French and Arabic?
So it's in German already. For the Arabic version, as you might understand, there are not so many publishers who are willing to translate the book into Arabic because of Saudi Arabia not wanting it to be published. But we're trying, and for the French version, we're in the process of finding a publisher here in France. So hopefully soon.
And so, going back to your own work for human rights activism, is it derived from your sister's fight that got you into activism, and what are you doing?
Yes, exactly. I wasn't an activist at all before my sister's imprisonment. I was pushed into it. But of course, once we see, you cannot unsee it, and now, it's just bigger than me, and, my heart doesn't let me do anything else. So, because my sister, we managed to make her case very public, I think it would be unfair for me not to, to stop just because my sister is released. So, I want to fight for everyone else in Saudi and in the region, and I actually made it now a full-time job. So I work at a Saudi NGO that fights for prisoners of conscience, women's rights, and global, like every human rights in Saudi. So yes, I have become an activist myself. But I don't regret it at all.
So what is the situation in Saudi Arabia at the moment? What are the questions that you're working on?
Well, there is no freedom of expression at all. I think that's the first right we have to really fight for. And everything else comes from it. If you can't express what you think about the situation, you can't express the violence that you're going through, then you can't do anything. So I think we really have to pressure for Saudi Arabia to allow people to speak freely about what their opinions are.